So, apparently the ride never ends, because out of the blue last night, Atlus revealed yet another major Persona title, and not in the way most people were expecting. Yeah, so Persona 5 Fan of the Night is a Chinese mobile spin-off that seems to canonically follow Persona 5, and this game appears to be a full-on RPG like any other mainline game. So, yeah, as usual, I've got Michelle, aka Senorish, here to discuss this insane reveal. So yeah, how are you feeling, Michelle?
As soon as you said to start recording, I felt like I was going to sneeze and it wouldn't come out, so I'm off to a good start.
Perfect, awesome. Yeah,
it looks like a cool game.
Yeah, no, that was about my reaction last night of being in this weird uncanny state, you know, much like holding in a sneeze of, I don't know how to feel about this, I think I want this, but also it might hurt me.
Yeah.
I might bleed profusely out of my nose, aka if this is a gacha game, I'm going to bleed out of my wallet.
Yeah.
Which we have no clue if it is one. All we know is it's a mobile game of some form. It's free to play, but it has microtransactions in some capacity.
Yeah, we don't know if it's a gacha, but it's a mobile spin-off of a JRPG, so you know.
Yeah.
Take that for what you will.
For this being a mobile game, this game looks really nice.
Yeah, like I both of us made the exact same tweet last night, which is that I'm mad this game looks cool.
Yeah, no, like, cause you know, us being the top two #1 Persona fan or Persona 5 fans just ever.
Yep.
If you can test that in the comments, we will hunt you down.
I'm not the #1 Persona 4 fan, I'll tell you that. We can someone else can have that.
Woo. Yeah, but so like our kind of shared philosophy has always been we're down for one more major just kind of continuation in this series with P5. A lot of people are already done. I was always down for one more and then I could cut it there. I wasn't expecting it to be this. I was banking on either like P5 Arena, P5 Strikers 2. I really want P5 Strikers 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this one.
I'm also okay. So I guess talking about like what I expect from this game, in a way, I don't expect it to be that either, because it is still the currently China exclusive mobile game spin-off of Persona 5.
Yeah.
Like this isn't Kingdom Hearts. I doubt this will be like the important plot follow-up to Persona 5 Strikers.
For sure, which that's the thing, like, okay, because maybe I'm coping, maybe if Persona 5 Strikers 2 did happen, I'd be like, okay, one more round, one more, I don't need it.
My theory, my guess right now, I think, not including this, I think P5 has 2 spin-offs left in it. I could see one of them being Strikers 2, and I think the other one could be Arena, assuming that they actually want to make Arena. I don't know, the Ultimax port kind of bombed.
Yeah, well, we can only dream.
But that's my theory, is that P5 has like 2, like, cause we're not seeing P6 for a hot minute, even though we know it's real.
Yeah, we've known it's real. But yeah, that's kind of, I guess, sitting in the back burner for a little bit. Maybe it'll be revealed this year. Last time we predicted that was like a year and a half ago. I don't know anymore with Atlus. They always manage to blindside me in the weirdest ways possible.
We had different expectations back then. The end of the world happened for 2 years, so you know.
We're still getting that Persona 1 remake.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Something about this being an entirely different crew. We haven't even mentioned that. Like, this is a whole new cast. Joker and the Phantom Thieves are here to some capacity. Otherwise, whole new crew. Which does give it a more fresh feel. I think everyone here looks really cool. We'll get into that more later. But yeah, this is just a whole new thing. This one actually feels like a Persona 5.5 in a way.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's still the P5 universe, if you want to word it like that. You're still, I think, going around Shibuya, at least to some extent. Mementos is here. There's palaces. Or I assume they're palaces. I don't freaking know anymore.
It could be jails again. It could be another thing.
Which, okay, that actually, this is kind of skipping ahead a bit. So something I mentioned to you before is because there are a couple translations online that people have done for the trailer. It's all in Chinese. But one thing that was kind of mentioned, because a lot of it is just kind of, trailer fodder, people saying vague, mysterious lines or kind of goofing off. One thing that was mentioned a couple times was the villains, and I think the little owl creature, which I love, freaking Luffy.
Yep.
They sure did call him Luffy. But they mentioned something about like desirelessness or people's desires being taken away, which very much is ringing Strikers to me.
Yeah, that's the plot of Strikers.
Which also, in the screenshot they did show of the Phantom Thieves next to the protagonist Wonder, you see them holding some kind of crystal heart, which again, very much feels like Strikers to some extent. So maybe this is Persona 5 Strikers 2. Who knows anymore? I don't know what's going on. I'm very confused, but I'm very excited.
I would say, since you mentioned it with the Phantom Thieves, I do think it's interesting. I mean, we've seen very little of the Phantom Thieves. All we've seen is that one screenshot and Joker at the end of one of the trailers.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that as of right now, we've only seen the core 8 members. We haven't seen Akechi, which makes sense. But also no Sumi, despite the fact that this game clearly has royal mechanics in it. We saw a grappling hook.
Listen, it's gonna be like the Mario Kart phone game. You gotta pay $40 for Kasumi.
$39.99 for Zenkichi Hasagawa.
Okay, do not even say that one jokingly. I would pay. I would like cry while doing it, but I would pay for it.
As the arbiter of Sophia Saturday, I feel like I have to pay for that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. It's like it looks like a really cool mobile game. Yes. That being said, I guess that gives me a transition, which is the fact that apparently it's also going to be on the computer.
Yeah,
and that's something.
Which that does give me more hope for.
Yes.
Just, I don't care if this game actually releases in Japan or the West or whatever. We still have no idea. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna do it. And...
I do love the I think it's a press release or something like that. I forget exactly where this was, but there's a thing that just says like release date in Japan unknown.
Undetermined.
And I'm like, I feel like it's at least kind of likely, given that all the voice acting, from what I can tell, is in Japanese.
I assume this is a major announcement. The Japanese Twitter, tweeted about the release, or the announcement. I feel like it has to. If it doesn't, that would be extremely funny. I mean, stuff like Genshin Impact, that's a Chinese mobile game. That has a very strong localization over here.
Yeah, it's even dubbed, yeah.
Yeah, so Atlus is a little weird sometimes. I don't know if they would go to that extent.
We might be having a Striker-style wait for this goddamn mobile game.
Yeah, listen, I'll even take the hell that is the Persona Q2 method, which is we get it, no dub for no reason, but that's our life.
Q2 at least made sense because that game's cast is stupid.
Yeah, it was also a 3DS game that released in 2019. Two years after the Switch had already released.
I love Q2.
Yeah, oh man, I know. I'm shocked that I am so excited for this.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
No, because the first thing I saw that I was like, oh, this is real. Because, okay, for some background before I get into that, so we technically already knew about this for a while, kind of. Yeah, because for the unaware, a lot of people are unaware of this. It basically didn't happen. A trailer just showed up one day, like what, 2 years ago?
I think it was before Strikers.
It must have been. For something called Codename X. It looked like it was called Code X name.
Fanforstic.
Exactly. No, but the trailer was very, very weird because nothing about it actually said it was Persona 5 or Atlus. Like, nothing did.
Yeah.
Oh,
The only thing that did was the fact that it had the very obvious like location of P5 Shibuya.
yeah, it
Like,
had
that's what showed
P5
that.
models. It had P5 Shibuya, but it was really high quality too. But it looked like the characters they even showed off for it. It looked like bootleg Persona 5 stylings. I'm like, yeah, we have like a vague thief kind of person and like a masquerade mask. Yeah, Persona 5, the video game, Persona the 5th. But yeah, like it very much always felt like to me, which I assumed it wasn't. It felt like for some reason they were holding off on saying this was an official project, which I don't blame them. It looked very unofficial.
Yeah.
It felt like a Chinese studio broke into Atlus HQ, stole all of the assets, and made something with them, with their engine. It was very weird. But yeah, eventually, like, it was literally just that trailer, like, leaked, I think, and we heard nothing.
Leak, yeah.
Yeah, we heard nothing until yesterday. And yeah, Code X name is Persona 5X.
Yep.
It's very... Congratulations, Atlus.
Especially because, like, that original teaser, like, okay, yeah, like, it had, like, the P5 model locations for, like, the Shibuya, like, you can even see a Y shop in the trailer.
Yeah.
I believe, and stuff like that. Other than that, the trailer wasn't very P5 themed, which is to say, like, P5 has a very, very distinct aesthetic that everyone knows.
It was like the Google Translate Persona 5 experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess you got some of the definitions right, but it's not... I don't think this is how you translate things.
Yeah, so seeing this trailer now actually have, like, all that P5 UI look, have the Phantom Thieves in it, have Life Will Change, like, it definitely feels... It feels more important, I guess, is a way to describe it.
Yeah. This feels like a very notable announcement, which is what I was... Not what I was expecting at all. Because that was what I was going to say before. The thing that kind of blindsided me with seeing this is I was like, wait, the mobile game actually got announced. And I look at the trailer, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, this does look like a Persona 5 mobile game. Because that first, I think, like, the concept trailer looks a little rougher than the main gameplay trailer we got.
I think it's the story trailer.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, this looks like a mobile game, like, kind of riffing off it. But then, like, that's a whole new Velvet Room design, which is a very big deal, because we have not gotten that in, like, 8 years?
Something like that.
Like, since we've seen Persona 5's Velvet Room, we have had no variations on it. And that is very surreal, but I dig this design a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's an aquarium.
Yeah, which kind of plays on a little bit of the P5 concept art. Obviously, it wasn't, you know, the sky has whales in it. But, yeah, we saw some concept art of, you know, the Igor with the big old aquarium behind him. And then, obviously, it's still a prison, which always felt weird. I always wondered why it was still a prison, but it had the... I don't know.
It was also a jazz club.
Yeah. P5 concept art is very interesting because, like, a lot of people pointed out as gorgeous and like, oh yeah, we should have gotten this, like every scrapped concept for every game ever.
Yeah, because people don't understand the point of concept art.
Yeah, that's the thing. It very much feels like disparate ideas for concepts before they actually land on a specific theme.
You just start... The thing with concept art is you just kind of... A lot of concept art is stuff that, like, the artists just start making to, you know, get the brain juices flowing before you can actually, like, pin down what you're doing. Because if you actually look at P5 concept art, none of it has cohesion.
No.
And that's the point. The point was just throw shit at a wall until we find that, like, that thing that is going to be Persona 5. And that's what they did, and now we have Persona 5.
Like... That's the thing. I think the art we have, for instance, of, like, presumably Shido's cruiser with a friggin' Ferris wheel on it is nuts. That's insane. If that was in the actual game, I have no clue how I'd feel about that.
I would laugh very hard if I got to fight Goro Akechi on a Ferris wheel.
That would be insane. I mean, if you're able to take Akechi on a date, I guess you could have some fight of some kind. Yeah.
I was in Strikers, but he's dead in that game.
You can't prove it. Nuh-uh.
I can try.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, no, like, aesthetically, this game, honestly, is really, really pretty. Like, I like a lot of the lighting in it. It feels very distinct, even for just being the P5 engine. Like, a lot of it definitely seems derivative of P5. Like, the big dungeon we've seen a lot feels like a mix of, like, the casino and, like, some, like, Kamoshida stuff.
This villain just looks like Kamoshida again.
It's Kamoshida, but skinny and kind of has, like, the Okumura aesthetic.
Yeah, no, he's Kamoshida, but he's baseball.
Yeah, and or golf. It looked like he was on a golf cart, but I don't know anymore. Sportsman.
Okay. I guess if we're gonna talk about like that kind of stuff now, like just like based on like the whole like vibe of the characters and stuff like that, it looks like, judging by this first villain, they might be doing the 7 sins again, and because this guy definitely looks like Lust.
Yeah,
which would be funny because Strikers kind of tried to do that and then gave up after 3 jails.
Yeah.
Which also barely worked, because I wouldn't say Alice was Lust, but sure, whatever you say.
I mean, some people definitely lusted after Alice, but yeah, after that they just kind of dropped it. I don't know. It's very surreal as an announcement, because it's definitely hitting all those classic, almost formulaic P5 beats at this point, but at least it's putting some kind of spin on it, which I can appreciate.
Yeah, because Strikers was pretty derivative of P5, but I personally felt like it did a lot of new with the concept, and especially it still made the Phantom Thieves very much move forward as characters, which is something that most Persona spin-offs have we'll call it a rocky track record with.
P5 is on P5 is on every system now. You guys don't have an excuse anymore. Play Strikers already.
Yeah. Unless you're an Xbox fan, in which case, I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry you played Persona 5 on the Xbox.
Man.
But, no, I appreciate that with Strikers, because Strikers was very derivative of P5, but it still made the characters move forward. It still made the plot move forward. It gave us 2 new Phantom Thieves and all of that. I feel like this game being if this game is really derivative of P5's plot again, I feel like it'll be a lot more noticeable, even if it does have an entirely new cast.
Yeah.
Which, again, I guess that kind of goes back into what I was saying, which was, I'm not sure how much I'm expecting from the plot of the Persona 5 Chinese mobile spinoff.
Listen, worst case scenario, I can't speak Chinese or read it. I'm just gonna vibe out and see Luffy be a silly little owl boy.
He's a bird.
I mean, kind of on the note, though, of, like, derivativeness and almost a legacy, it makes me think of, which we can go on to talking about the designs with this.
Yeah.
One of our friends, Mishi, kind of mentioned how...
I was also going to bring up Mishi. I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah, the protagonist design, that's definitely Joker's outfit. Like, it's not 1-to-1, but they're trying to be Joker so bad. They wish they were Joker. Which you could almost take that as, which I hope they go in this direction. They easily could just not acknowledge it, and this was their life decision. The way I kind of see it, and our friend mentioned, is, this character is probably inspired by Joker to some extent. They're like celebrities at this point. So that would be how they view their rebellion, and thus that's how it would manifest as an outfit. I can't explain Arai, the yellow girl, Miss Tomboy. I don't know what's going on with her outfit. I love it. I don't know what justifies it.
Because I was going to say, the whole thing of, assuming this game works by similar metaverse rules, which, I mean, we saw Memento, so I'm going to assume it does, is, people, or the Phantom Thieves outfits are based on what they view as a rebel, which is why it makes sense, because a lot of the outfits are very much based on tropes seen throughout various pieces of media that have like thievery and stuff like that. On's a femme fatale, Ryuji's a pirate, Yusuke is Yusuke, stuff like that. So having the protagonist, I mean, the protagonist isn't the first P5 character to dress kind of like Joker. We had Sumi. Zenkichi also has like a like 3 flap coat, stuff like that. But like this one is just Joker.
Yeah. Because these designs
the mask
were
is the same shape.
Yeah, because these designs were done by Sojima.
Yeah, like one of the, it's not even just like, oh, this is Sojima, this is someone cribbing Sojima's style. Like one of the pieces of art has his signature on it, and I mean, it's just his art style. Like it's too on the nose to be someone just doing the style.
Yeah, no, like it's been officially announced that Sojima, at the very least, designed the main cast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And yeah, I think the designs are cool.
No, yeah, because Wonder, I think, even though it is Joker Persona 5 and or trans Sumi, I'm so happy for him. Yeah, no, like they look fine.
It's non-binary Sho Minazuki. I don't see how you don't understand.
Finally, Sho is the protagonist, like we always predicted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I think it very much depends on how they show off Wonder that they actually look great. In some shots they look awesome, in other shots they look, if bro thinks he's on the team. I adore Luffy. You're even, yeah, like we're doing this call on Discord. My PFP is literally just Luffy right now. That was instantaneous.
I did love also our friend Mishi, whenever we were like looking at all of the footage and like the images of her just going, or them just going like, why they got legs?
No, yeah, they're stanced up like they're in Mighty Number 9. And I kind of adore it.
I love him. He's so funny.
Yeah, because we have Luffy, we have Arai Suwa, who is the tomboy, which people are already adoring their design a lot. Like I haven't seen people take issue with them. And yeah, they look great. And then we have Mirope, who is the Velvet Attendant. Also, Igor has a new voice.
Yeah, that's
which
weird.
is, yeah, if people aren't aware with like Japanese customs, it is very common for characters when their voice actors pass away, which Igor's has been gone for about like almost 10 years.
I think, was the last game he did?
Actually, probably more than 10 years.
I'm trying to remember the last game he did. Wouldn't it have been like
Persona 4 Golden?
No, he didn't even do Golden, I don't think, because anything involving Marie, pretty much only Margaret speaks.
Yeah.
So I think Arena came before Golden, so it might have been that game.
I don't even think Arena has new voice. Or Arena had a different voice actor, I think. Or like not in Japan. I think in Japan it was just like reused lines.
Yeah, his last game might have just been P4.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have a new Igor. I don't know if that's gonna say anything about Persona 6 when we actually do get that, but it's very different. Yeah, because usually characters just get retired. But yeah, that's very surreal. But new Velvet Room, new attendant. She's very pretty. I like her.
Actually, sorry, correction on that. I think his final project was Persona 4 the animation.
Okay, you might be right with that one, yeah. That's still going back like
yes,
over 10 years.
That's still like the year after P4 came out, yeah. So like,
oh man,
yeah.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Mirope is the first Velvet Attendant that's not named after like a Frankenstein character.
It's actually true.
I think they're, oh gosh, yeah, that is what they are. Okay, no, sorry, they're not the one I'm thinking of. So Mirope is a Greek, not goddess, they're like an empress, but they are from Oedipus, and they are Oedipus's mom. Not that mom. The adoptive mom. So we're in the clear there.
Okay.
Which yeah, kind of yeah. Before we did this, I was looking into the different characters, and the personas especially, which the persona designs are very funny to me, because Wonder's persona I think depending at the angle they show them at, looks extremely stupid. But when shown at a good angle, looks awesome.
Yeah. That render is not flattering.
No, they look like an almond. Yeah, no, because I hope I'm not butchering these names. Because Wonder's persona is Janowick, which is a Slovakian, I think like train smuggler kind of deal. And yeah, they've got cool little like axe guns.
Yeah.
And it's really neat. I like the
weapons.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I like the contrast between like the big old white persona and like the darker Joker too. Yeah, and then we have Luffy, which their codename is Cattle, which kind of fits with, okay, my thing is, a lot of these names, I thought were like really bad translations, but apparently it is just accurate names. Yeah,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, no, because Luffy's persona is Rob Roy, which is a Scottish like cattle herder criminal. They all are still like criminals or thieves to some capacity. They got very obscure with these, but I kind of love it.
They should have just named it Rob and just had it be Robert from Super Smash Brothers.
That would have been beautiful. But yeah, no, I adore this design of like.
It's so funny. Yeah, I love it.
Like Gundam Shogun with like a friggin' like foam gun. It's very weird, and I vibe with it. Yeah, Arai, their codename is Closer. I still don't know what's up with their outfit, but I love it. And then their persona is a Wilda, who's Scandinavian, was like a pirate, kind of like Captain Kidd kind of deal. Their design is fantastic.
Yeah, that was definitely the best of the 3 IMO. Or I guess 4. We did see another one in the trailer, but we don't know what the frick it's called, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it almost gives me what's on second persona? Hecate. Yeah, no, it almost gives me like Hecate vibes of very much using the silhouette to kind of play with the shape of it, using the coat as a big old shark head. It's sick. I love it. I love Persona.
I do too.
Yeah, but no, that's kind of the lineup we've got. It is weirdly strong. That's kind of the thing again with this game is this came out of nowhere. It's very weird how nice this looks.
Yeah. I really like it. Because the game definitely, like, you know, the animations aren't quite as, like, beautiful, smooth as they are in actual P5. It's a mobile game, whatever.
Yeah.
For what it is, it looks very nice. I will say that, talking about that does give me the other theory for why our protagonist has Joker's design, which is that they can reuse the animation.
Yeah, but don't say that. It makes me sad. But yeah, no, like just across the board. And then we have some other characters, like they showed off a teacher. People think she's pretty. They showed off another yeah. They showed off a couple people. But yeah, out of the yeah, they showed off not Kamoshida. But I don't know, just like art direction is the one thing I would expect to take big issue. Well, it's not the one thing I'd expect to take big issue with the mobile game.
I'd expect to take issue with every part of it, and I'm surprised how well it's working.
But it's not an issue, so we're good. Gameplay wise, it's Persona 5.
Yeah, like I mean, we haven't seen like specifics. We've just seen it characters do some attacks.
Well, because we know there's microtransactions to some extent, but the only evidence we've seen of how that would play in is there's like a timer, like an energy symbol at the top right with like a little hourglass. So I assume that's just like, you know, like certain visits kind of having to pay for that to like palaces or mementos. I don't know. Otherwise it could just be its own thing. I have no idea.
This does get me to one question I have about how that works, and one thing I am kind of wondering. So this could very well just be that the game isn't done yet, so they just threw everything into the first palace jail. But I did notice that we did see like 6 or so party members just in the first dungeon.
Yeah.
So that could be the game isn't done, and they just don't have other locations, and these characters will get introduced later, because all the cutscenes we've seen are just the first 3. But it could also be that this is a gacha game, and that you roll to get Phantom Thieves.
Which I actually find that funny. way back when I first played P5 and I went in as blind as you possibly can,
Wow.
I didn't assume almost that there was just like a set party you'd be getting through the story, or at least like I had no clue it would be implemented. So I kind of felt like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be recruiting different people. I'm gonna get like optionally get Mishima on my team or Shiho, whoever. Just build up like a big old party of fantasies I can swap between. If that's what this is, that's really silly.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, because I already assumed at the get-go this was a gacha. From what we're seeing,
Because it is the safest guess imaginable.
yeah, from what we're seeing, it's probably not, but I'm not ruling it out. But yeah, like outside of possible gacha systems and a little energy thing, it's just P5. We've got proper P5 combat, with an actual turn order on the top of the screen, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Dark
that. Exactly. We have that. We have Luffy can. Why can Luffy turn into a car? Like,
We did talk about that before.
okay.
Okay, because P5 has a surprisingly good explanation for why Mona turns into a car. What percentage of society can cognitizes an owl turning into a buggy?
Yeah, because it's very much implied that Morgana being able to turn into a bus is a Totoro reference, because everyone loves Totoro, so cats being buses is just a common thing in their mind space, in their literal mind palace. Yeah, which is also why in Royal, Morgana, try as he might, normally can't become a helicopter. But maybe Persona 5 the video game is so popular in this universe that all animals are just imagined to become vehicles now. That's just a thing.
Maybe in this universe, Animorphs was a weird fucking theory. Weirder than it already was.
#1 bestseller.
I do just want to point out, this is a side note, but I was looking at like the Persona Central thread that just like shows all the character art. I did love one of the replies under the tweet for the protagonist, someone just writing Slovakia winning for the first time in history. I just thought that was funny and I wanted to share it.
No, yeah, cause I do really like how it's just kind of the wide net they cast for where they're drawing inspiration with the personas. It's very different.
Yeah, which like, because original P5 had a pretty wide net as well, but a lot of it was European.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was also like, not all of it, but a lot of it kind of felt more like it leaned into literature and that kind of mythos. Well, a lot of these are just like criminals that existed, like undebatably.
Yeah, because like, but criminals were real in original P5.
Yeah.
It was like, I think Captain Kidd was real.
Yes.
And wasn't Johanna real?
Johanna is Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
And
Robin
Carmen.
was
And
real.
Carmen. So there was a
Robin-
bit of a mix.
Robin Hood was real. That the Disney movie was like.
They do be a big old furry. Listen, just like Robin Hood inspired a whole generation of furries, Goro Akechi inspired an entire generation of people adoring serial killers.
No, that happened long before Goro Akechi.
Yeah. Persona 5.
I love Persona 5. What else was I gonna talk about? Let me look at the note. Oh yeah, I guess I could talk about this. I did tweet this, which is that I don't care how good this game is. If this game gives me new Lin bangers.
Oh,
then
frick.
I
Yeah,
will.
no, we're done. We haven't heard any new music, but
Yeah, it's all we've heard is Life Will Change.
I'm scared.
Which, I mean, I will say, if they don't do new music, I wouldn't be that surprised, because like it's not between P5, Royal, Strikers, Q2, dancing, anime. There's like 300 plus songs for them to pull from to make this game soundtrack. It's not hard. That being said, I mean, I would love just any new Lin music. It doesn't have to be Meguro doing the music, because Strikers didn't. Strikers wasn't Meguro, and that's like peak. But I am very interested in And I'd be very interested in this game's soundtrack because Persona music.
Our next hyperfixation is right around the corner. Except we don't know when this is releasing or where it's releasing, but it's right around the corner, I promise you.
We know it's getting a closed beta.
Yeah, and that's starting, or at least sign-up is starting in a couple weeks.
Which means that it is at least playable, presumably.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
I will mention other side note, because I was also reminded, because I'm just like looking at stuff on Twitter while we talk about this. Yeah, I'm definitely, because this protagonist is presumably nameable.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely naming him Akira Caruso.
No, yeah, that is the correct choice.
Unless he gets a real name, which I don't know. I doubt this is getting a manga that would give him a name.
You doubt Atlus too much. They'll find that's like the one thing they consistently capitalize with this series. They capitalize on is just finding ways to make a manga for anything. But yeah, no. Now I have to steal your idea for my protagonist.
It's too funny.
Oh man, yeah, but back to the gameplay side, like, yeah, Mementos is just Mementos for phones. And then, yeah, like, we've seen a crap ton of, like, mini games, like, baseball is here. You can go to the gym, which I wonder how social stats are implemented. But yeah, the thing I've been mentioning with the gym, I already heard you dying over there, is somehow bro is even worse at the gym, like the punching stand, than Joker was. Because Joker is just kind of like smacking it like a little loser and eventually learned. Wonder is like wiggling his arms out at it like noodles. It just looks like he's about to collapse.
Don't even get me started. I fear seeing this man on that treadmill. Joker on the treadmill is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Bro's gonna be doing like the friggin' the secret SpongeBob episode, just the goofy walk. It's across the treadmill. Big old wiggly legs.
What else? What else? Yeah, like just everything like P5 is just kind of.
There's showtimes.
Yeah, there's like very Showtime looking shit.
That's kind of, I guess, the big takeaway with the rest of this. Which obviously there's more info to look at on the website. They've been teasing some concept art and stuff. But yeah, the overall feel this has been giving, as anticlimactic of a final claim as this is Persona 5 on phones.
Yeah.
To some capacity.
I was gonna say another idea, I guess, with like, because we haven't seen it, but we can probably assume this guy's the wild card. He's in the Velvet Room. He's probably the wild card. That could be another way they gotchify this.
Gotchaing your demons like it's DX2.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean we're getting Sonic T Hedgehog in this game?
I don't know.
That is a recruitable demon in the SMT mobile game alongside Bayonetta.
Can I get Kiryu?
You know, I wouldn't put it past him if that's the angle we're going here. Kiryu is kind of a legend.
Can't get Kiryu, but he's not even a persona. You could just summon him like Yakuza 7, where you just like, call him on the phone, and he just shows up in Mementos.
Listen. In P5 Strikers, we get to see Makoto going to the movies to watch Dragon like a Yakuza. So for all we know, a viable persona in this universe is just alt-world Ichiban.
Do we want to talk about that other thing I mentioned before we started?
Oh yeah. That is the one caveat that's a little maybe upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I forget who the artist was.
I linked it.
Yeah.
Right. I can give you the link as well.
Yeah, because one of the concept arts they showed was very pretty.
Yes.
But it kind of had an issue brought up because another artist posted, which this was already, that's another thing to note, this is definitely one of the biggest Persona 5 like fan art pieces that is out there online.
Yeah, so confession time. My parents bought me this art piece very obviously bootlegged on Redbubble as a Christmas present. So sorry to the artist about that, but also I didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to praise that art, like, me seeing this concept art, that one did come to mind, and I had gaslit my brain into thinking that was official art, the original one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously, I'll put them side by side for comparison. It is, I'm very split. It is very fair to argue whether or not this is plagiarism to some degree. I'm hoping it's not. I hope there's some better resolution, because it would suck if it was. But yeah.
Okay, I will start by saying I don't think it's AI art.
It's not AI art. Like, it's very clearly not.
If it was AI art, someone went over it and made it look good.
Yeah.
I will say, because yeah, there is like the thing to be said, which is like, oh well, you know, it is a similar motif that other Persona games have done with like the silhouettes with just the mask viewable.
It's not the most original aesthetic in the world. It's just that original art did it very well. It's still a gorgeous art piece, but I think it's not that hard to believe that multiple people would come up with a similar aesthetic of that, of like the harsher shading, like darker silhouette, big glowing mask. With that said, it still is a very similar aesthetic, so I'm not making a hard call. It's just...
The big thing being the heavy, like, brushstroke aesthetic of the background is the big thing that makes it look the same.
Yeah. So if that is an issue, it's really unfortunate, and I feel really bad for that artist.
My generous reading is that... My very generous reading is that, like, 2 years ago, Sojima saw this art, and then accidentally did the same thing. Yeah. But that's the generous reading to me. That's
because another thing to note with that, I guess, is that kind of like brushstroke painty aesthetic thing is already a thing Sojima has done a lot.
That's like, yeah, that's like a lot of his like concept art. Like you can like the little like Joker illustration you got with the Steelbook of Royal. It has that vague kind of look.
Yes. If this is determined to be plagiarism, I'm not defending it. It's very scummy. But I can understand the angle of it just being incidental or accidental.
I guess the last thing I would say about whether or not it's plagiarism is just the fact that nothing else in the game looks very plagiarized at all. Everything else seems very original, and also Sojima, to my knowledge, is an artist with like respect. Like self-respect, so like
I don't know, you see that Wonder design, it looks pretty plagiarized to me.
He stole from his own design
exactly
of Tatsuya, but I don't know, I'm willing to be optimistic and say that it was not intentional plagiarism, but also I don't know, and Lord knows if Atlus will ever actually say anything about it. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best with that.
Shouts to the artist, though, the original artist who made that fan art. It's peak.
Oh, yeah, no, like, I'll link them below just so people can follow them just in case. But yeah.
Don't be mean to them, because people are being mean to them and they don't deserve that.
No, don't bother with that. It's very, even if it isn't plagiarism, it is extremely understandable why they would have that
It's
impression.
still worth bringing up. That's why we're talking about it.
But that's the thing, like, they didn't even say it was plagiarism. They just said it very much seems like it.
Yeah.
Which is a difference. But yeah, is there anything else you feel worth bringing up, or are we good to close things off?
I don't know if I have anything else. It looks like a very neat game that feels so surreal to see.
I'm still taking my time processing it. Yeah, final thoughts. Luffy is my my new child. They're joining the collection. If I ever get merch of them, it's over for my wallet. Yeah, I think this game looks really fun. I hope it is good, functional, that there's actually a fair way to play it worldwide. And hopefully, we've kind of barely mentioned it, but we also really haven't seen that much. I hope the story and characters are really good.
Yeah, I hope they are at least fun and they don't just I feel like if there's one big thing I want from the story and characters, this also comes down to how big of a presence they have in the story as well. But I guess part of it, because every Persona 5 spinoff up to this point has been really good about, please don't Flanderize the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah, there haven't been any spinoffs that have really made that an issue since P5.
Atlus clearly has a very good understanding of the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah, which I can appreciate a ton.
Something they debatably don't have on the Seas and the investigation team.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, I really appreciate that that's always been the case. And if this game fucks that up, it's not the end of the world. It's the Chinese mobile game spinoff.
Yeah.
It's a weird game, though.
Yeah, worst case scenario, this is gonna be a weird footnote in history. Best case scenario, this is Persona 5 3.
Yeah, worst case scenario, this is the Trinity Soul of Persona 5.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Alright, I think we can end it there then. I hope you all have a good day. We'll see how these updates go.
Persona.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? One final note.
Alright.
I am so mad that this has thrown a wrench into the next video I'm working on.
Yeah.
Which you guys will see what that is in about a week.
Yep.
I'm not waiting for this game to release to update it. We're just gonna ride it out, boys.
Yippee.
All right, bye, people.